chat. Are you on TikTok again too? Yeah. As well as you. Yep, I am. I'm on both. What's up? How you doing? What's the key? I'm sipping the coffee today. How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there? What's up? Bum, 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 bum. I'm working with the color yellow today. Let's see if we can turn this yellow tube into. Yellow. Doesn't that sound lovely? Yellow. Mellow yellow. I might make a head today too. I don't know. Just thinking about it this morning. Yo, yo, yo. Randall in the chat. What's up, Randall? Got my favorite white t-shirt on today. Oh, yeah. It's hot. 93 degrees in Nebraska. Damn, I think it's like 65 right there. It's cold, man. Alaska's chilly. But it's a nice day out. It's all blue skies out there today. I don't remember the last time we ever saw 90 degrees here in Alaska. It's been a while. Send some of that cold down here. That's funny. I'll get right on that, baby. I'll get right on that, baby. Alright, check it out. So we turn that tube yellow. And we're going to shape it out. Give it some flavor. See that? I'm gonna stretch it down a little bit, just like that. Give it a stretch. Then I'm going to thicken up the mouthpiece, nice and thick. So you can see that mouthpiece, the stem. Now we're going to go and work on the bowl, supposed to drop below 90. That's great. Oh, 90 would be nice. What the F? Is a Fahrenheit. That's funny. Oh damn, we're getting some traction on YouTube today. Look at that. We got like 60 people in the chat. Damn. Went from 0 to 60. We're getting all that Canadian smoke. Oh man. Alright, now we're gonna gather up the end of this tube like this. Watch. A little more yellow because we like yellow. Yellow's a lovely color. I got like less than 20 pipes in my studio, so we got to step it up a little bit. Only 2 likes and 47 watching. Yeah, that's pretty typical, okay? Hit the thumbs up, people. Thanks, man. Just like that. Then we gather it back just a little bit more. All right, there we go. There's the bowl. Done. Thanks, man. So that's how you gather up a bowl. Do you guys see that? Now I can either round out that tip and bring it right back into the bowl, or I could leave the tip on there, which is kind of cool too. So that tip right there, I can either work that into the end or just leave it there. I think I'm going to leave it there because it's kind of cool. What color of gas do you like working with the best? Probably amber purple is my favorite color. Amber purple is my favorite. So then I cool it off like this. Purple rain, purple rain. So I pop a hole and this is how I push the bowl into the glass like this. Heat up around the hole like this. It's tricky. Warm up the tool just a little bit. And you can see the bowl push just like that. Then I smooth out the inside of the push. Okay. Now I'm going to add some glass to it. Since this is a yellow pipe, I'm going to add some more yellow to it. Oh man, we had too much coffee this morning. I started to twitch. Like 2 cups. Them good Alaskan beans. Oh shit. Alright, now we're going to throw a little pattern in here. I'm going to stick a half moon on it, I think. And maybe an AK today. Yeah, an AK, why not? AK update. Mellow yellow, quite frightful. Yeah. A little more yellow. Vibing with the yellow today. I'm feeling it. Gonna heat up the glass off the bubble. We don't want to collapse the bubble, that's key. So heat up all the glass off the bubble, and then we'll take our little stamp here, push it right into the side of the glass like that. It's a song. Alright, check it out. Love your work. Thank you. Check that out. So that's the letters A and K. Oh boy. Alright, that's a vibe. That's a vibe right there. I think I like it. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, damn, we got a couple people on here today. All right, so we're going to throw a couple more marbles on here just for vibes. A few extra vibes. We warm that glass up real good before we throw the glass on top of it. We don't want it to crack. That's facts. Alright, so we tossed a couple marbles on this. This one's got a nice nipple on the end of it. Put nipples on them. Hey. What's this message say? Hold on a second. Alright, that's better. Donovan did a song called Mellow Yellow. I don't know what that is. Alright, here we go. That's progressing nicely. Look at all that yellow. And the marbles look real nice. Alright, so now we're going to put a carburetor on the side of the pipe. Y'all see how I'm doing that? Add a nice big solid chunk of glass to the side of your bubble there. And then heat that glass up super hot to where it's white. You don't want to burn off into the side of the bubble. And when it's hot enough, I'll stick this tool here, this graphite pencil in the hole, and I'll blow some air through that hot glass. It's heating up in here today. It's heating up, baby. This part does take a little bit of time, but if you do it right, it makes the work look a little bit better. I think. Like I said, you got to be careful not to collapse that bubble on the side. You also have to melt the whole thing back in and start over, so you got to be careful. I'm focusing all the heat on the outside of that glass there. Then I'm going to plug the hole in the bowl and blow some air through this. That's how we do it. Oh, that's looking lovely. That came out really nice. Alright, then we're going to grab our graphite paddle and kind of flatten that face of the carburetor just a little bit. This has got to be lovely. This keeps your thumb off the side of the bowl. You see how I did that? Put the carburetor out a little bit. You don't burn yourself. So I got like a full moon on the stem and an AK up on the bowl. Now I'm going to flatten the bottom of the bowl. And this is how I do that. I hit up the big flame like this. I heard it pop, it says. I heard it pop. Just the bottom. I get it nice and hot, then I bring it over the bench and I push down slightly. Making sure it sits straight and flat. Boom, and then I smooth that off. So now you can see the bottom's been flattened. And it's nice and smooth. Alright, now I'm going to reach over here to you to collapse full moon tonight. I haven't done any lately. I live in Alaska. I don't live in California. But I would welcome the opportunity, you know what I mean? Then I take a mouthpiece off, like this. 22 minutes in, we got like 80 people watching us on YouTube today and 200 on TikTok. Thank you for stopping by, folks. The last week on YouTube, I haven't reached more than one person at a time. It's been crazy. But today we seem to have shattered through the algorithm just a little bit. So I pull that glass away until it gets thin enough to pop a little hole. Alright, then again we're going to flatten that mouthpiece so it's nice and smooth, like this. Just give it a slight push. And make sure it's straight. Like that. And if the hole's too small, flare with this little file I got. Okay, there we go. Look at that. That's the finished pipe. What do you guys think of that one? Yellow, mellow yellow little hand pipe. Big enough to fit in your pocket. Got a big old nipple on the end of it. I don't usually do that, but it looks kind of cool. What do you guys think? Nice clean bowl. It's lovely. Bam! Alright, so we're going to start fresh with this one. This is just a pulled point on a handle. I'm going to wipe off all that kiln dust. I've been making like 2 of each color before I change it out. Bravo, bravo, thank you, Randall. Get some more coffee in it. Check out my cup. Thank you, Sierra Winter. What's up, G-Man? How you doing? Got G-Cap in the chat. We got the incense burning in here today. Burning the incense. Let's see what we can do with this one. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is stick it on this 8mm handle. I got my music on, but not loud enough to get banned today, so I think that was my problem before. I was playing too much music. We're going to weld that right to the end in the flame, pull it out, stretch it just a little bit. Let it straighten up. Alright, then we're going to go straight into heating up the tube and picking up as much color as we can on the tube. almost went to a market today, but I figured my time would probably be better spent sitting in the studio making work than sitting behind a table trying to sell it, you know. I thought about it. But I was like, meh. Alright, so check the technique. We basically just keep the heat base going up the tube and try to keep the tube as straight as you can without melting it or making it collapse. Which is kind of tricky in itself, but if you watch how I'm doing it, this is the technique. You kind of push your hands together in the frit as you roll it in the frit. Keeping the tube nice and straight. Man, that torch looks cool on the screen. Huh? What do you guys think? Where are y'all watching me from today? I'm broadcasting from Alaska. Who's in the chat? My girlfriend got you on TikTok. What's up, Randall's girlfriend? How you doing? Be sure to like and subscribe. We're gonna see what we can do with this one. We're gonna freestyle something different. Maybe put some big old marbles on it. I'm not sure yet. This is the part where it starts to get creative. And remember not to burn this handle off your screw. If you collapse this tube back into the top of the tube, you have to start over again. It's a real pain in the ass. So you gotta be careful. Alright, there we go. The tube has been totally coated in yellow. Now we're going to add a little flavor to it. She said hi back. Well, I missed it. We got Randall's girlfriend in the chat on TikTok today. What's up, Randall's girlfriend? Alright, now we're going to shape out the pipe. Gotta make sure you melt in all the color you applied to the outside of the tube. Hello, Kathy. What's up, Kathy? Can't stay focused for more than a minute. Oh, dude, you're funny. Alright, then we're going to smooth out all the stretching. Oh, there we go. It's looking lovely. Alright, I stretch the stem down just a little bit. I'm trying to keep it nice and thick. Go back to the tip of the mouthpiece and make sure all of our glass is melted in properly. Because if you don't do this, you'll end up with a bunch of texture right there and you'll feel it on your mouth, and that's not the vibe. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to do the top like this. Where is a guest? You got to keep that top nice and hot, else it tends to crack right here. Bang. Cranking up the heat here a little bit, getting it nice and hot. Look at all that smoke behind me. That looks cool. It's like special effects. Special effects. Can you guys see it? Only 10 times up and 124 people watching. Hit the thumbs up, people. Thanks, bro. Nope. Don't speak that language, bro. Alright, this is the bowl part. Check it out. This is how we do a bowl. Make sure all that's melted in and we get a nice even heat base across the whole surface of this piece here. And then when we're ready, watch this. Pull it out of the flame and blow some air into it. Alright, here we go. Let it cool off for a second. Let it form a bit of a skin, and then there you go, there's the bowl. That's how you do it. Now you try. Randall's like, whoa, hold on a second, my girl's texting me. We'll have to get back to her in a minute. We're busy. Follow the live creator. Hey, thank you. I see you over here. What's up? Alright, let's fix that. So now I'm going to take that tip and bring it back into the bowl. Because that last one was cool, but I want this one to be round. I think it's better when it's round sometimes. Sometimes it's cool to leave a tip on there, but I'm going to make this one disappear. Alright, sometimes I like to grab my marble bowl, this, and round the bowl out in the marble mold a little bit like that. I find that kind of helpful. Then I superheat it back up into the face. In the face. It's a beautiful day here in Alaska. The sun is shining. Oh shit. That never happens. It's pretty much rained almost every day here in Alaska in July. If you're trying to grow a garden in Alaska this year, no, it's not happening unless you had a greenhouse. And even then, there wasn't much sunshine, baby. Alright, now we're going to blow out this bowl one more time with the tip all melted into the bowl. It's looking lovely. Again, we're going to pull it out of the flame, let it cool off for a second, and then blow some air into it like this. Give it a second or two to form a skin, and then blow some air into it. And I'll hold it down if I want the glass to expand downwards a little bit like that. So there we go, there's my shape. Looks pretty good. We're using the color yellow again. Gonna cool that off a little bit. With the hand torch, it's just blowing cold air. Now we turn that off. Get a sharp, tight, focused flame like this. This is how we pop a bowl. Watch. Find a spot just a little bit between the bowl and the stem. Hold it at just the right angle. Focus heat in one place, then pull it out and blow some air. The pressure will push that spot right to the surface. Now if the hole's too small, I'll flare it with this file tool here I got. Alright, once it's just the right size, there we go, you can see the hole there. That's my bowl hole. I'll heat up around the hole like this. Not the hole itself, just the outside edges of it, like that. And I'll get that whole area nice and hot. This is how I push my bowl. I'll warm my tool up a little bit in the fire. Graphite here, a little metal tip to the top. That's my bowl push. And I want it to be kind of between orange and white when I push the bowl. You got to have it nice and even to get an even bowl push. We're jamming out to the Bengals in here. Oh yeah. Walk lash, chips. If the hole starts to shrink a little bit, I'll just blow some air into it. That'll expand the hole just a little bit. If it's too small, you won't have any airflow, and you'll have to stretch that hole open at the bottom of the bowl after it's pushed, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but it totally works. Then I take it over the bench and just give it a push. Alright, bowl has been pushed, then I go back in and I smooth it out. I take my pencil and make sure that the hole is centered in the bottom of the bowl. It's got to be perfect. And I'll take my hand torch, I'll light it. And I'll clean up the inside of the bowl, getting rid of any lines that were created from pushing the bowl. And if the bowl hole is too big, I'll focus all the heat right into the center of that hole to shrink it up a little bit. Holding it upside down helps shrink the hole. This strengthens your bowl quite a bit. Alright, now you can see it. Look at that. Nice even bowl push. Very clean. Hole's just the right size. Now I'm going to decorate it. Woo! The fun part. Thanks for stopping by today. How y'all doing out there? This is yellow on top of yellow. Damn. I went shopping. I went shopping the other day. I was at Target, filling a basket up with stuff. It was fun. When I'm heating this stuff up, I don't want to heat up the stem at all, just the glass on top of it. A little more yellow here, just a skosh. I'm going to use this. Look at that. Pretty sure I got the only one of these in the country. It's an AK for Alaska. That's all. What's the word? What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man? Aaron in the chat. We actually reaching some people today. Oh man. Wednesday must be the right day to broadcast. Alright, so I'm going to weld these two rods together so that I can hold on to this a little bit better. Let it cool off for a second. It was a good day. Didn't use my AK. Man, I use my AK almost every day. Check this tool out. That's a tool, huh? What the fuck is that? It's a horseshoe file. But it makes a really cool pattern in the glass. Watch, I'll show you. So you can pretty much stamp any texture pattern into the glass you can dream of. It's good to just experiment with different things and see what happens. Alright, watch this. So I'm going to bring it over to the bench and I'm going to push down on this to create a pattern. And then I smooth up around the edges of it. I've used one of them. Oh, that's cool. Look. You can see the texture in the glass, and now you can feel it with your hands. It's like, it's kind of fun. I think it's fun. Now I'm going to put a carburetor on here. Excuse me, folks. Now we're going to do carb. Carburetor. Not too big, not too small. Just the right amount of glass. Bless you. Oh, thanks, bro. I'm over here sneezing. Hey, thanks for stopping by today. It's a beautiful Wednesday here in Alaska. We're whipping up some fresh magic in the studio. Showing people how to blow glass. Thank you. Why is it falling apart? Torching the hell out of that thing. I'm just focusing all the heat on the carburetor glass there. Else, yes, it would melt. The whole bubble would collapse if I was just heating a bubble. But I'm just heating the glass on the side of the bowl. Like this. And then when I'm ready, check it out. This is how we put a carb in there. That's about white hot. I'll puff some air through the side of it first. Oh. How long you been doing this kind of work? Yo, what's up? Since 1999. I've been blowing glass since 1999. Long time, man. Alright, now I'm going to flatten the bottom like this. Making sure not to melt my carburetor off. It's tricky. This takes a little practice. So now you can see the carburetor, the bowl hole. I put some little grips on the stem, pull gripper on the side, and an AK on the bowl. Alright, now I'm going to take the mouthpiece off like this. Does glass get hot when burning? Yeah? It's hot, man. I'm going to put in this big bushy flame so it doesn't crack. That helps kind of warm that area before I do this. And focus all the heat right there. This one looks nice. I think I like it. Thank you. Alright, so that's how you open a hole in the mouthpiece. You see that? Then you focus all the heat right there on the hole and flatten it with the graphite powder. And then flare it a little bit with a reamer. You can use a pencil, but I think these files work great. Like that. Just kind of roll it around the inside. That's difficult designing mode. Probably the electroforming of glass and crystals together is probably the most difficult thing I've done. You kind of wrap a pipe or glass with some copper wire and stick some crystals to the side of it, and then you encase it all with more copper. It's a very fun process to do. It takes a lot of time though. Alright, there we go. That's the finished mouthpiece. See that? Nice. Alright, flatten back. Yellow handpipe. Thanks for watching, folks. That was the whole process start to finish. Now I'm going to change colors. I think I'm going to use amber purple. Amber purple. Alright, we're back. Adjust that real quick. Okay, so we got a little purple in there. A little bit of funk. Oh, what's that? We'll take that out. Okay. Alright. That'll make a nice little tiny pipe, I think. Okay, this time I'm going to use this tube. It's attached to a 9.5 handle, making it a little easier to work with. Hey, thanks for following me. We're almost up to 1 million, I swear. We're getting real close. Come on, it's funny. Alright, we're working with the color amber purple now. And I'm just applying it to the outside surface of the glass. What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's the glass blowing show. Alright, almost to the bottom of the stem. It does take a minute to get this up and get the color on there. But that's okay. Amber purple looks cool on the outside and on the inside. You can do both. My 1 pound jar of this stuff cost me $100. There. Alright, there we go. Tube is coated. Purple. Now I'm going to throw some yellow over the top of the purple. Just for the fun of it. Give it a little more flavor, you know? Alright, see that? I'm going to melt that wrap right to the side of the glass. How's the weather on Sunset Boulevard? Oh, good. I'm going to rake through that color a little bit. Like this. Kind of go back and forth as close as I can to the other last line that I did. And without melting my handles off. Nice and smooth. Pretty smooth, baby. So my hand gets too hot to hold on to it. Look, that's about as far as I could go before my hand starts to melt. Don't melt your hand off, bruh. Not the vibes. So me putting the clear over the top of the amber purple makes the purple pop a little bit more. Tennessee Hilbert, what's up, Tennessee? Get Tennessee in the chat there. This blends that yellow into the top surface of the glass as well. I assume it's like 85 over there. Over here, man, it's like 65 where I live. I'm in Wasilla, Alaska. Put Wasilla on the map. Look at that. Well, they got engineer from TFT World. What's up, man? That's my type of weather. What, 65? Yeah. Alright, so that's what it looks like after I rake all the color in. You see that? Now we're going to melt it out and shake it. Melt it out and shake it. Look at that flame, it's crazy. If this was fume work, it would burn off real easy, so you gotta be careful. When you're using fume, you just gotta roll it through the fire a little quicker. It's a little more forgiving when you're using grit and solid colors over the top of the tubes. Now during this process, I don't want to mess my pattern up too much. Thank you. What's up, what's up? Alright, so we're melting that in and we're stretching it out at the same time. Adding all that glass to the top surface of the tube gives it a lot more glass on the piece too. Now we're going to stretch it. heading out. Cool work. Keep it up. Someday I'll probably buy a piece. Thanks, man. Someday I'll put one on the website. I need to do that. I don't think I have anything on my website. But you can send me a message there if anybody wants to chat. So now you can see how that yellow is melted in over the purple on the stem. That's looking real nice. Now I'm going to switch to the other end of the tube and start melting it all in. That's far out, man. Yeah, the color on this looks real sick. Yellow over purple looks real cool. Gotta make sure you melt all the color in, or else it will leave a big blob of color on the outside. And it won't be smooth. Makes it kind of funky. You don't want the glass to be funky, you want it to be smooth. Keep it smooth. I think I'm going to make a cigar holder next. I haven't done one of those in a while. You guys know I invented a cigar holding tool. Lets you finish a whole cigar. I'll show you how I make it right now. We're going to melt that handle off like this. Use a nice fresh nipple on the tip. Look at all that color. It's looking lovely. It's looking lovely. I know some guys will need that. Oh yeah? That's what they look like. So I'll let you take your cigar all the way down to the bottom. That's the one I was using earlier. I sell them for 50 bucks if anybody wants one. Get at me, girl. No, 50 bucks like that. I'm gonna stick a rod into the end and then twist it to make sure that I get a nice spiral pattern on the end of the bowl. Makes it more fresh. Alright, so we rounded out right into the end. Now we're going to blow out the final bullshit. You can see how much heat it takes to do this. Them cigars are not cheap. I was at a tobacco shop in Anchorage last week and they were selling their cigars for 30 bucks a piece quick. I think the cheapest ones were like 9 bucks. Alaska has some of the highest tobacco taxes in the whole country. It's definitely not the place to be a cigar smoker. Whatever. 6 to 8 here. Yeah, not here, bro. We don't even really have a tobacco shop in my city. They've got like little humidors in the liquor stores, you know what I mean? And they sell shitty cigars. I don't want to smoke. Alright, now you can see all that color in this one. That's looking crazy. Diabolical, bird. Alright, now we're going to push it. Push it. This is super colorful. I think I like it. How much for a pack of cigarettes? Like 15 bucks. For a pack of cigarettes. So if you're smoking Marlboro Reds in my town, you're like a doctor or a lawyer or something. You're balling. Maybe you're a drug dealer. 15 bucks a pack is crazy. It's cheaper to buy weed. Crazy, huh? gram for $5. I'd have to quit. Yeah, I quit in 2008. Cigarettes anyway. Then I switched to cigars. Oh, whoops. Alright, there's the bowl. Lots of color in this pipe. Thank you. Check that out. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I think I like it. I'm going to do a carburetor. Then we're going to jump into making a Get that nice and hot. And let it pull away from the bulb just a little bit. Ah, that looks lovely. Okay, it's nice and thick. No more flat. See how little grips I stuck on it. Something different, you know. Trying to make the work look totally different than anything else in the case, wherever it ends up. I kind of put in this big bushy flame so it doesn't crack my mouthpiece before I do that. Alright, so we take that off. Thank you. And now we're going to pull that glass away until it pops a hole right here. This is how I do that. Yeah, it's sealed. There you go. You can see the hole. And I flare that open just a little bit. Again, we're going to paddle that flat just a little bit. Nothing's gonna stop us. Alright, check it out. There's the finished pipe. Thanks for watching. Now we're going to just jump into something fresh. Isn't that cool? Nice little hand pipe. Yellow over purple. Nice size bowl hole, cobbled strip. Mouthpiece looks good. I just happen to have a few extra little pieces lying around here today. Nothing's gonna stop us. Got this cool reversal thing on there. We're gonna heat that up for a second, and then we're gonna see if we can't turn it into something cool. So the first thing we do is grab a cigar. I'm going to check the diameter of it. Alright, that's the diameter. And I'm going to mark it. Hold it right there. Alright, let's see if we can do this without fucking it up. Alright, we're going to need this, and this. Let's see if we can do it. We'll warm this up nice and slow. We don't want to blow it up. This is an old dome. Does anybody still use domes out there? Perfect. There we go. Cigar holder. Plus it's got this cool reversal in it. Oh shit. It's fancy as fuck. Alright, so that's how you release the glass. That is cool. What do you guys think of that? Look at that. Reversal magic on there. That's a cigar holder. I had a few extra pieces of this magic lying around. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that one. These are old school domes. You guys remember this stuff? Anybody? Yeah. Funky little bowl push there. Got an extra one there. That one's kind of cool. Alright, so this, I like them. Thanks, Randall. This time I'm going to put the color on the inside of the tube. Check this out. Don't stick your hand in the fire. Alright, glass inside the tube. Then I close it up. Glass in the tube, grab the rod. Alright, so now you can see the powder in there. Now we're going to melt it in. Going to go low and slow with this technique. Low and slow. Remember, don't melt this part off. Else you're fucked. You do this right, you get a nice solid dark purple on the inside of the glass. I'm going to crank the heat up just a little bit. Another. Then you can see it stick to the inside. See that? Oh shit. Then you want to make sure it melts to the inside of the glass real good. Now I'm going to stretch out the stem. Alright, so all that color's melted on the inside, now I'm going to stretch it out. That's how you get the best purples. You got to make sure you melt all that frit onto the inside of your tube real good. Just like that. Alright, now we're going to stretch it down. Try to keep it nice and thick. Just got to make sure all the glass is even when you're doing this technique. And keep it nice and thick. And you got to really put the heat into it for it to get that nice purple. But it strikes really good in the kiln after it's in there. Like that. It's all about melting that purple onto the inside of the tube for it to work good. There we go. Alright, now we're going to gather that bowl up just a little bit and push some air into it. Just like this. Try not to heat up that stem too much, just a little bit. Just a skosh. Alright, like that. Let it cool off for a second, then blow some air into it. Like this, keeping it even. Then I'm going to take the handle off, like that. Oh, this is looking lovely, I gotta say, folks. This is looking lovely. Alright, so we're going to bring that all the way back into the main bulb. Alright, there we go. Melting that back in. We need this a couple times to get that purple right out. Amber purple's a fun color if you get it right. There we go, that's the shape. And all the purple's been melted onto the inside. And I'm going to cool it off. Alright, now we're going to push a bowl into the top of that. Alright, now you can see that bowl hole, just the right size. That's what you're looking for. and purple. This ended up a little bit smaller than I wanted, but that's all right. So the inside of this should turn a nice dark purple. That's the vibe here. You gotta really tease it back into the frame. There we go. And there's the mouthpiece. What do you guys think of that? It's alright. It's got some sparkly marbles on the outside of it. It's kind of cool. I don't know if I like it that much. It might be cooler once it's purple. Alright, we're going to take a short break. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you again soon. Peace out.